Okay, so this is part 4 of our How to Invest in Pre-Foreclosure series. Hopefully you've been through the first 3 videos where we established a solid foundation for what foreclosure is, how pre-foreclosures work, and some of the basic points that you need to understand if, in fact, you want to invest in pre-foreclosures. This video is going to be about the 3 characteristics of a pre-foreclosure seller. Now, if you recall having watched the first 3 videos, if you haven't, then I'll just inform you that as an investor, when you make a decision that you want to invest in pre-foreclosures, that's one of our primary acquisition strategies here at RP Capital Home Solutions, okay? We love this particular acquisition strategy, number one, because we get to help a lot of people in the process. As a preacherpreneur, my wife and I both, we love it. My staff, they're preachers and ministers. We're all people of faith, so we love helping people, number one. But we also want to make money, so we can make money and make an impact at the same time through the strategy of pre-foreclosure investing. Now, with that being said, we also want to make sure that we're clear on the characteristics of this type of seller, which in many cases, they're not a seller by choice, they're sellers by force. Foreclosure has forced them to become sellers by default, even if they don't accept it. So these are just 3 basic characteristics to help you understand the mindset, the psychology, the perspective of someone who's in pre-foreclosure that we consider to be a seller, whether they consider themselves to be a seller or not, because it's not choice, it's force, okay? So characteristic number 1, they don't want to leave and they'll fight to the end. And I see this every day. My team sees it every day, okay? So if you ever get a chance to talk to somebody who meets this first characteristic criteria, I'm working with the bank, they fraudulent, they didn't set my last 2 payments. I'll say this respectfully, they're probably delusional about what's really going on. Oh, they lied to me. They told me they was going to do this. They're just fighting. And the truth is, we don't want to see them in that situation, but it is what it is. But this is the type of pre-foreclosure seller or owner that you already know, okay, I'm not going to be able to do business with you, even if you get as far as to even have a conversation. A lot of them will cuss you out, hang up on you, never call you back, or won't even give you the time of day. The few who do that fit this first criteria of characteristic, they're going to just keep spinning it off, okay? Blaming the bank, blaming the system, blaming everybody except the fact that you're in foreclosure and you need to do something. Especially in our situation, we reach out to people who are anywhere between 3 weeks to 6 weeks away from an auction date here in Georgia. So every first Tuesday of the month here in Georgia, there's an auction at the courthouse steps in the counties, okay? So that means we're reaching out to them either 3 weeks prior to, no more than 6 weeks prior to that auction date. That's already been set. There's a file number, there's a trustee, there's a docket information, everything is prepared. There's 3 to 6 weeks away from it being sold on the courthouse steps. And if they fit that first characteristic criteria, we're already just moving on to the next one, okay? Characteristic number 2, they're willing to leave because they accept the situation, but with unrealistic expectations. So that means you may finally talk to someone and they have a home that may be worth $250,000 or $300,000, let's just say, and they're like, yeah, you give me $600,000, I'll sell it to you. And you're like, the house ain't even worth $300,000, whether it's equity or not. Sometimes it's not even about equity, especially in today's market, at least at the time of this video. It's not even about equity a lot of times. It's just about helping them make the transition so that their house won't be sold. And one of the reasons why I like to stress this to you as a potential pre-foreclosure investor and people who are in these situations is because we've seen a lot of people go through this first phase of they're fighting, they don't want to leave, or they're willing to leave, they're open to have a conversation, but they're unrealistic in their expectations / delusional. We've seen people wait it out, drag it out, postpone it, delay it, procrastinate. And then we go to the auction site on that first Tuesday, and guess what we see? Sold to the bank, sold to a third party. Now guess what? They're going to receive an eviction. They're going to be forced to leave, and they got nothing. At least companies like ours, we're offering probably some type of cash for them to walk away, offering to help them relocate, help them with storage, moving, cleaning, whatever it is that we can do to help within the range of what's going on. And they lost all that. We've actually had people to call us back after they lost it. And unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do because the house is gone and is now in the possession of the bank. All right, characteristic number 3, they're willing to leave and open to whatever you have. So for us, again, we invest in pre-foreclosures. Our primary acquisition strategy for buying a pre-foreclosure is the creative real estate strategy of subject to. Because of the timeline, we're probably 3 to 4 weeks away in most cases, and we're not going out to get a new loan. We're going to take over the payments, reinstate that current loan. We're going to help them in their relocation process with movers or storage or junk removal or whatever we can do. And in many cases, not all, but many cases, when there is enough wiggle room, either in equity or in the deal, we try to make sure that they walk away from the closing table with cash in their hand. And that's how we acquire the property. Okay, so we want to make sure that if they're willing to leave and they're open to whatever we have, we explain that to them, and then we begin the process. So this is just a general outline. This is not like an exhaustive, inside peek into all the nuances of the characteristics of the typical pre-foreclosure seller, but it just gives you a broad idea of what type of people you're going to typically deal with. You're going to deal with someone who doesn't want to leave and they just fighting you and fighting everybody. Someone who's willing to leave, but they're unrealistic. They want this, they want that, they want this. And you're like, nobody's going to do all that. Or you might find a fool that will do it. And then you're going to have that group of people who are willing to leave and they're open to whatever you have. And hopefully you have the right solutions and strategies that can help them and make you some money in the process. Remember, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you would like access to our workbooks, join us for one of our creative real estate workshops. Maybe you would like access to our online creative real estate course, which has an entire suite of training on pre-foreclosures. We teach you creative strategies like subject to. We also have a millionaire mentorship program where I have made a commitment throughout this entire year, at least in 2024. Hopefully you're watching this video in 2024. I made a commitment this year to add for free our creative real estate investing mentorship to our millionaire mentorship program, which typically is not the same program, but I am hosting meetups here for real estate investors every 2 weeks. We're underwriting deals. We're pulling lists. We're making phone calls. We're role playing. We're helping people get deals and make money and help a lot of people in the process. So if you're interested in any of that, or you just have questions, click one of the links in the description, reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, give you any direction or information that you need, and hopefully we can join forces together to get out here and do a lot of good for people who are in distress.